I recently helped a young couple with their finances. They had something interesting going on. They were making way more money than what they needed for their bills, and yet they were late on their rent. They were making about 5K a month, and all of their bills were more like 3,700 ish combined. A bunch of their extra expenses went to, for instance, a vacation that they didn't really need to take, or paying off random debt that they had been accumulating. And the thing is they earned enough money, they shouldn't be accumulating debt. I talked to them a little more, and some of the things that they were struggling with were actually like mental health issues and illness. And so, for instance, the pay hadn't been consistent because one of them couldn't go to work all the time due to sickness, or the other one couldn't work consistently at their job because they kept having mental health days that would come up and keep them from working as much as they should. And so these became really detrimental factors for them. It was interesting because financially they should have been sound, but their personal emotional states and health issues were keeping them from being able to actually feel that way. And so they were actually extremely stressed about their finances. Usually when I am, again, helping people with their finances, try to stick with the financial side of things as best as I can, but I do always try to, for instance, say it's a couple and they're fighting about their finances, try to help them see each other's side, or, maybe offer a little advice once in a while for someone who's going through something. I try really hard not to just be intrusive or, insist on unsolicited advice to people. I do try to keep it more toward finances when I'm helping them, but sometimes people really just need a lot of extra patience and understanding. For instance, a while back, I helped someone and they were in a fetal position on the floor, curled up sobbing, and kept having to leave the room just going over their budget. Sometimes talking about finances just turns into some sort of a therapy session, whether that's necessarily the initial goal or not. And I just tried to go with it and be as understanding and helpful as possible. For them, I said, honestly, if this is the biggest things detracting from your life, if this is the stuff that's creating difficulty in your relationship, if this is the kind of thing that's creating difficulty in your workplaces and your ability to consistently earn as much pay as you should be earning, take the next couple months and focus on your health. Stop focusing on paying off debt. Stop focusing on trying to keep up with as many things. Buy your groceries 2 weeks at a time so that you don't have to deal with the stress of going shopping. Get your health situated. Go to the doctors, get yourself referrals to specialists, and go to therapy and take your medications. Get yourself consistent with your health, create good habits there, and then you'll be able to make good habits elsewhere. Because right now, you're not habitually doing well, and you're making commitments and promises, and even financial ones, based on you at your best. But you're human, you're not always going to be at your best. And right now, maybe you're just not at your best, but that can be a temporary thing if you focus on dealing with it. And so I don't always give that kind of advice to say, step back away from paying your bills as much. That's definitely not typical of me to say, you know what, all this debt can wait. I felt very strongly in this particular situation. Them trying to keep up with the debt is just adding to their anxiety and their stress. They were not in any kind of position in a mental health capacity or physical health capacity to continue on the way that they were going. It's not sustainable. So yeah, that's what I said. And I did give them a time frame. I didn't say, oh, just never worry about your debt ever and it'll just always be on the back burner. I did say, here, until 2 months are done, don't worry about the debt. Make minimum payment on it possible, and then just don't stress about it. Really focus on your health and your mental health. Get to where you can more consistently work, you can more consistently feel secure about your finances, you aren't worried about what's going to happen at your job, you're able to have a routine, and you're able to feel somewhat secure. Then tackle that debt and get rid of it. Deal with the health stuff first. Because in the long run, you don't have a life without yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to do anything else you want to do? Your health is kind of like the top thing. So when you're in a place where, man, things are just all about your health and your mental health, try to forgive yourself for needing to take care of that. And they were so obviously loving toward each other, and yet they had been recently hurting each other's feelings and stuff, and you could tell they cared so much. And that was only making it worse because they felt so guilty about not being able to be super strong and help support the other person. But every once in a while, no matter how much you love somebody and how good of a relationship you have, life happens and both of you are going to be going through it at the same time. When one person's going through it, you can help support them, and then you start going through it and they help support you. But sometimes it's just both of you. And those are really, really tough times. But if you can pull together instead of pulling apart, you can get through that. You'll come out on the other side and you'll have gotten through that temporary spot. You can do it. If you're in a situation that's like this couple that I just was trying to help and stuff, it's okay to say, I'm not at my best right now. It's okay to say, I have to focus on something and it needs to be my health or my mental health right now. As long as you set a date with yourself.